We are live now on YouTube.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me, Manuel?
Clear.
Yeah, great.
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right.
The future is for the youths. How ready are we to exert power hidden in the useful rooted results? It starts by being consistent in our actions. DEKEMP at 6. Who will be our speakers? Can you guess? Insight, strategy, empowerment will be explored at DEKEMP's 6th anniversary celebration. You do not want to miss this out. DEKEMP at 6. 6 years of celebrating awesomeness. The future is for the youths. How ready are we to exert power hidden in the useful rooted results? It starts by being consistent in our actions. DEKEMP at 6. Who will be our speakers? Can you guess? Insight, strategy, empowerment will be explored at DEKEMP's 6th anniversary celebration. You do not want to miss this out. DEKEMP at 6. 6 years of celebrating awesomeness. The future is for the youths. How ready are we to exert power hidden in the useful rooted results? It starts by being consistent in our actions. DEKEMP at 6. Who will be our speakers? Can you
Hello, everyone. A very well welcome to everyone on this call this evening. Good evening, everyone. Kindly react to your favorite emoji. Can we have some reactions in the house? Are we excited? Great, great. Are we excited to be on the call? Let me turn on my video right now. So, yeah. Can we show some excitement? Can we show some excitement in the chat box? Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay, so welcome to day 2 of DEKEMP at 6, and I believe we're all excited this evening for another amazing session. I believe we all had an amazing time yesterday, and this evening also we're going to be having another amazing and a wonderful time. Okay, yeah, we already have our speaker on the call with us, but let's just give a quick overview of just some little stuff we got from yesterday's call. I'm sure we had a wonderful time with Mr. Jonathan, who took us through leadership with key examples and key points from his own experience. And like I had mentioned already, we are set for another time today. So we have limited time, and I believe our speaker is well loaded and prepared for us this evening. This is our schedule for the event all through this week. But before we proceed, we would like to have the DEKEMP anthem, and after that, we will then have a short 2-minute game session. I am sure some persons are ready to go home with gifts this evening. So, before that, let's have the DEKEMP anthem.
DEKEMP is a great family of trust, love, and excellence, of oneness, togetherness, in all that we do. We aim to achieve great success through process, learn to make our works much more better. Yes, process over results. Empires, resourceful people who support each other, knowing that till we all win, we are work in progress. Yes, we will achieve great success. That's what made Kelechi, who founded this noble group. Lord, please make us all winners.
Where's the reaction? Can we have your reactions? That was the DEKEMP anthem. Amazing. God bless DEKEMP for everyone who has also been a member of DEKEMP. Everyone, the mentors, the members, external persons, in one way or the other, that have contributed to the growth of DEKEMP. We are here to celebrate another 6 years of great impact. So right about now, I have a game session just for 2 minutes. I'll make it very quick. And like I said, there are chances of someone going home with a brand new car, maybe, or a brand new limousine, or maybe an iPhone 17, virtual. So if you are excited to have that, I'm going to be using the chat box and to also get to know those who were very, very much attentive in yesterday's session and then probably took notes. So it's just an open question. The name of our speaker for yesterday's session. Let's see. The name of the speaker of yesterday's session. Okay, I'm seeing different types of names. Jonathan, smile. Of course, he's always smiling. Amazing. Dr. Jonathan K. Smile. That's wonderful. Some persons are forgetting something. Not sure. Of course, you know anyone who has done a PhD. Of course, great. Now we're having someone giving us. Awesome. Thank you very much. PhD, there's P.H.D. There's Ph.D. This is really amazing. I'm having fun. Anyways, that's really amazing. The name of our speaker is today's session is Dr. Jonathan Smiley. PhD. Yeah. And also on the chat box, just tell me one key thing you grabbed from yesterday's session, maybe a nugget that he mentioned during the course of his presentation. Let's see on the chat box also. Okay. I can see some people trying to flip through their notes. Come on. Success is succession. Amazing. Trust is earned slowly, but lost quickly. That was awesome. Okay. To be a great leader, we must be a servant. Amazing. Amazing. Why am I seeing a phone number? Or is there an account number? Don't worry, it's going to be a virtual iPhone 17. I mean, you can win one. Who knows? Leadership is built through service, not by authority. That was awesome. That was awesome. Come on, we still have a great number of persons on the call. That's good. Legacy isn't about being remembered. It's about what continues after you and what impact is felt years after a man is no longer in the picture. I mean, yesterday's session was really very amazing, and we had an awesome time. And today's session, we're having an engineer in the house, and trust me, it's going to be an amazing time, because one thing I know, at least I've been privileged to sit under her, speak in various meetings and conferences, and I can tell you that today is well packed. And we're really very glad to have her. Before then, we'll just play an official trailer, because we're here to celebrate the camp at 6, and we will just take you through what the camp has been thus far, and we hope you like what you see. All right, enjoy.
The hour is set. The moment we've been waiting for. Are you ready? DEKEMP at 6. The moment we've all been waiting for. Celebrating 6 years of awesomeness. Meet our speakers. Jonathan K. Smiley, PhD, Engineer Felicia Agubata, FNSE, Mr. David F. Young, Hamed Kayode Alabi, Ashim Joshi, and Dr. Kelechukwu Onwukamike, PhD. The theme of this year, Rooted for Result, building youth power through consistent action. You do not want to miss this, as this will be filled with insight, new strategies, and great empowerment. See you there. DEKEMP at 6.
DEKEMP at 6. Come on, once again, can we have your reaction? That was amazing. DEKEMP at 6. The next voice you'll be hearing, she'll be taking us through this wonderful session this evening, is the voice of an amazing speaker that we're going to be having this evening. She's an engineer. I'm going to be playing her bio for us to listen, and after that, she will handle the session all through. Please, if you have your questions, due to time constraints, I'll be taking just a few questions. And if you have a question, you can do out to drop it in the chat box, and I'll give the opportunity for about 2 persons to be able to unmute themselves and ask their question. All right, so after this introduction, we're going to be having our speaker take over the virtual podium.
DEKEMP at 6. The speaker of tonight is an engineer by profession. She has the requisite experience as a mentor, including over 20 years hands-on experience in aviation industry and community service. Her mentorship platform has enabled her to support STEM students and young engineers to set career goals and to diligently work towards achieving those goals at various levels of engagement. She is a STEM and a gender equity and inclusion advocate, a committed change agent who is passionate about the girl-child education and women empowerment. She has traversed the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria with inventive future initiative on the upward and awarded scholarships to 81 pupils from primary to university levels. Furthermore, she initiated 7 science and technology laboratories in 7 states' primary schools across the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria in partnership with NNPC under her leadership as APON president. Besides her trying to currently build capacity of STEM teachers and building mentorship clubs, virtual platforms in Nigeria through the She Engineer Inventive Building Program and She Engineer 30% Club sponsored by Royal Academy of Engineering UK as a grant awardee. She is a recipient of GCRF Phase 3 and 4 African Catalyst Awards by the Royal Academy of Engineering, amongst others. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the speaker of tonight, Engineer Felicia Agubata, FNSE.
Come on, guys. Are you excited? I can't see the reaction. Did you listen to the bio? That was really amazing. Come on, just can we receive her now as she takes over?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, please, can I be allowed to share my slide, please?
Yes, you can.
Okay. The host isn't allowing sharing for this meeting. Or if Talbot can share the slide and
No, you
send
can
to his
make the
email.
request again.
Sure.
If you can share the one I sent to your email, that's fine. Sharing is not turned on.
Just a minute. Just a second, please.
Okay. If not, I can speak without the slide.
Try it now.
Okay.
Yeah, it works.
Yes, it's fine. It's fine. So, good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here celebrating 6 years of DEKEMP group. So I really appreciate being one of your speakers during your 6th anniversary. And we'll be discussing rewriting the rules of inclusion, emphasis on shifting the gender. First of all, I want us to look at when we define true inclusion. Actually, inclusion transcends not just representation. It's a deliberate commitment to access, voice, and power. Ensuring that every person, everyone, shapes decisions and feels genuinely valued and accepted. It also means that moving from tokenism to authentic belonging. You are in a group, you have to be part of that group. From diversity to equity. You have to be intentional to include people. I look at the call, we have around 125 people in the call. And if you look, you see that there are all gender are actually being included. It means that the DEKEMP is actually an inclusive association or an inclusive group. So that makes it something that sharing that everybody should look at and say, yes, DEKEMP is an association, a society, or a group that one would like to associate with. There are 3 pillars of inclusion. One is access. It must be fair, transparent, and the entry points must be free from all systematic barriers. No religious barrier, no gender barrier, no ethnic barrier. There must be free access, fair and transparent entry point. When you look at the workplace, An inclusive workplace must be free of all manner of barriers. People should be employed based on their competence. People should be employed based on their skill. People should be employed based on their qualification. Not because you come from a particular part of the country, or because you come from a particular religion, or because you're a particular gender. No. And when it comes to another part of pillar of inclusion, that is the voice. Every idea needs to be heard in a room, respected and acted upon. Even the least person in a team could be the one that can make the necessary change, could be the one that can bring the necessary solution for a particular problem. That's why it's necessary for you to listen to everybody in a team. Don't neglect anyone. Don't ignore any voice. Don't say that, oh, this person is a junior officer. No, it doesn't really matter. Most times, solutions come from the least expected. So that's why voice is a very important pillar when it comes to inclusion. Power, shared decision-making at all levels. There's no individual, there's no level, there's no kind of person that is that has the exclusive monopoly of knowledge or monopoly of idea. If you look at the diagram I have there, if you look at diversity, everything is actually a kind of open with some holes in between. What is inclusion? It means intentional. You have to do what you have to be intentional to fit something to close up a gap. That's inclusion. According to Werner Meyers, diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is doing what? Is being asked to dance. It must be intentional. There are some old rules that we have to break. These are inherited paradigms. We are built on centuries of systemic bias, frameworks that rewarded dominance over empathy, silence over brilliance, conformity over authenticity. The next generation, that is your generation, our generation, must consciously dismantle these outdated rules. Leadership is not about masculinity, no. Because narrow definitions excluded other strengths. Emotion is not weakness. Empathy was dismissed as being inadequate. No. Women must fit in. Men must also fit in. Change required from individuals, not system. System will not make a change. It's individuals that make a system. Individuals are the one that can make a change. You have a system cannot work itself. Us as individuals are the one that can do what, that can make the change that we desire. Success over suppression. Achievement demanded what? Sacrifice of what? Of self. In whatever you are doing, it requires sacrifice. I will tell you, I went for my son's graduation in Ekiti this afternoon. I left Ekiti by 2:30 p.m. I started this call inside the car. I just arrived at my house 5 minutes ago because I needed to be what? I needed to be in this session. You must sacrifice. Nothing comes easy. No. So while we are rewriting inclusion, there are a lot of things that we need to also imbibe on. That's also part of leadership. We talk about the new rules of leadership. Today, leaders are redefining what excellence means. You must lead with empathy, build through collaborations, embedded equity into systems, and recognize that inclusion isn't a nice to have. It's a competitive and a moral imperative. It's necessary. It's something that we cannot do without. If you want to succeed, if you want to thrive. Because leadership is equal to empathy, vision, and integrity. Integrity you cannot buy. Integrity you cannot fake. Take intelligence merged with human understanding. You ask yourself, what do people say when you walk into a room or when you are not in a room and your name is mentioned? What will they say? When they call Samuel Ogede, what would people in the room, what would that name say in a room filled with people when he's not there? That's integrity. From your leadership, how do you empathize with people? Do you have a vision? Do you have integrity? That leads to collaboration, which is a new power. No matter how good you are, two good heads, I don't mean one, two good heads better than one. That's power of collaboration. What about equity? Give everyone equal opportunity. Be intentional about including people in teams. You have teams to work on a project. Ensure that you bring everyone on board, irrespective of whether they understand it or not. If they don't know whether they have the competence immediately or not, you allow them to develop those competencies. Nobody is born with experience. You bring in experienced hands with inexperienced hands. That's how you mentor. That's why you bring people together. That's how you build people. That's how you build capacity. Because no one is ever born with capacity. You develop, you build. So equity is a design principle. And in doing that, inclusion becomes what? Innovation. Because diverse perspective on do what? Unlock solutions others miss. I'll tell you, we're having a team bonding meeting. That was 2 weeks ago. When you work with Chinese on a project, they always feel that, oh, that's what they want to do is what they want to do. On this remote learning we are doing at the airport. But they were like, no, they have to do it this way. I told them, I said, you cannot. You just have to do what? Bring in people. Let's sit together and design how we want this to go. They said, no, they can do it. I said, no. When the chips are down, they found out that eventually, after going up and down for almost 2 months, they came back to what we suggested that is going to be the solution to the problem. Because it was coming from Black people, they felt that, oh, it's not going to work. But because we have an inclusive team, because we have people we believe in, but because we have people who are from diverse backgrounds, because we intentionally included people from different departments in that team to make a suggestion on way forward, we were able to build what? Innovate on what the solution would be for us to have a non-disruptive air traffic services during 24 months of the remodeling of the airport. Inclusion in action. I just give an example, the Nigerian Global Talent Network. We imagine team composition by preferring gender balance across all projects. The results will do what? We speak power of intentional inclusion, not just the policy changes, but cultural transformation. In terms of productivity, you have 28%. In terms of improved retention, 40%. Innovation pipeline, you're going to have twice what you would have imagined. And that was what we were able to also achieve in our airport automation project and so many other projects. We must continue to do what? To build an inclusive environment, to build an inclusive workforce, to build an inclusive team, wherever you find yourself. Even while you are mentoring people, even in leadership, intentionally bring people together. Even if you think that they don't have the necessary qualification, allow them to learn, bring them up, teach them. Because nobody is born with experience. Nobody is born a leader. No. You develop that in them. You inculcate that leadership principles in them. Make sure that they imbibe in the things that will make them to be good leaders. Their character, their integrity. Once they build that, that is all. Where do inequality hide? Exclusion isn't always visible. When people are excluded, people will not see it because it operates through an invisible system. Look at job descriptions. they will give some people jobs that does not actually equate to what they've learned. Something that can actually project them because you don't want them to be seen. People will keep quiet. Pay gaps. Some people have disparity in terms of what they are paid. No, they are doing the same kind of job. They are paying someone higher than the other who are doing the same job description. Because it's invisible. Inequality, it is hiding somewhere. Unorganized invisible labor. These are all embedded in cultural assumptions. We'll tell you, oh, that a woman doesn't need to be seen. Oh, that is from a particular faith. Oh, there's a particular religion. It's not, shouldn't be seen. We must shift the paradigm. We must expose these blind spots because they are blind spots in our society. We must expose them and name them clearly. From recruitment bias, language and criteria favor certain demographic over merit. Because if you are from a particular part of the country, oh, you'll be favored. When it comes to employment in certain juicy areas. Pay and promotion gaps. When it's time for promotion, some people are stepped down their promotion because they are not from a particular outfit. The invisible labor. The unorganized emotional and administrative and mentoring work. What about the gendered workplace culture? The norms, assumptions, and unwritten rules for privileged some. Some people, before they even finish school, they already gotten a job at NUPRC, NMPC. But some, even with their first class, 2-1, so they will be, when they finish school, they're going to go and ride Okada or Keke, or be on the street looking for one job or the other that can put food on their table. In Nigerian parliament, they say that life is not what? It's not balanced. But we must rewrite that inclusion. We must be intentional by building inclusive systems. Inclusion thrives through what? Deliberate design. Companies, organizations, government that measurably invest in equity through policy, allyship, voice, and accountability consistently outperform competitors. Any company or organization that invests in equity through policy, just check that company. They always outperform their competitors because change requires action across all levels, not just good intentions. You have to reimagine the policies, gender-sensitive hiring practices. They could include parental leave, both for the female and the male. Structured mentorship in an organization. Both reverse mentoring and normal mentorship. But there's also some things that the junior ones can also teach the senior ones, and vice versa. Must be able to, and without mentorship, does not thrive. I'll give an example. If you look at an organization like Hayes Holdings, whereby you have the UBA group, the Hayes group, the Hayes Energy, and all the companies within that particular group. If you look at the trajectory, if you look at how they progress, that tells you a lot about their inclusive policies, their mentorship, and what actually makes that particular company tick. Inclusion. They are building a very diverse team, and that's why they are where they are today. We must promote allyship. Everyone plays a role. It's partnership, not pity. Active engagement with inclusion as a shared responsibility. Everybody part of the team, make everyone know that they are part of a solution. It thrives through a deliberate design. You must be intentional about it. Empower voices, create self-feedback mechanisms. psychological safety in meetings, and the new platforms for unheard perspectives. Find a way to engage your team to say things that ordinarily they will be afraid to say. You must allow them, give them that leverage to express themselves. Safe feedback mechanism, very, very important. Measure impact. Track equity metrics, hold leadership accountable, and it's rate based on data. Because what gets measured also do what? Improves. If it's not measurable, it's difficult for you to improve on that. You must know at a particular point in time. How are you now? And what will you be in the next 1 year? What were you doing 5 years ago? And how is your company doing now? It must be measurable. You must be able to measure impact. It's very, very important. And then I'll just look at members in this group, in this room, young leaders. You are paradigm shifters. You are the architects of tomorrow. Your generation has what? Creativity. I give it to the Gen Z. And convictions to do what? To design workplaces and communities that don't inherit the flaws of the past. You have it already. The future belongs to those who build it intentionally. Let's design new models. Imagine and create leadership frameworks that reflect your values, that reflect the value you believe in. Challenge stereotypes early in your communities, organizations, and networks right now. Challenge them. Harmful practices that you think that is not good, challenge it early, respectfully. Drive innovation. Use your voice, your networks, and your tools for systemic change. Be that change that you want to be. I'll tell you, when I started mentorship, I started running engineering clinic. I run engineering clinic now since 2021, where I engage young engineering graduates and then engineering undergraduates. We just try to build a community. When I look at the girl child in this part of the country where we come from, there's no level playing field. Even across the political zones in the country. In some zone, you need to do what? Just say, okay, STEM advocacy. In some zones, you just need to do what? Pray and beg that the girl child be taken to school first. Because there's a little barrier. A girl child don't need to come to school. They need to be married off at 11, at 10. And God make money for the parents. So we must challenge stereotypes early in our communities. By doing what? By trying to educate the community. Try to let them understand the importance of what? Education. So that is the only leveler. For people like me, getting to where I am today because I went to school. If I didn't go to school, I don't know where I would be. Maybe I would have been in a village or somewhere selling things in the market. But education did what? Change the narrative. Let us remember that the future belongs to those who build it intentionally. You just have to. It will not come to you. You have to do what? You have to work for it. Drive innovation. Use your voice, your network, and your tools for systemic change. In 2018, 2019, we were fearless. When I was APWAN president, we just said, okay, what can we build? We developed the Invented Building program, where we empowered 81 pupils from primary school and built 2 science and technology labs, the first of its kind in the primary school in Africa. Why? Because we saw that need to advocate that more of girl children should do what? Should go to school, should go into STEM, because we know that science is life. STEM is an economic driver, and we know that engineers are problem solvers. We wanted to drive innovation. We wanted to drive. We look at the North. Look at the leather fact. What they do with leather, crocodile skin, and the rest of them. Real crocodile skin in Kano, unpolished. They're selling it below market value because we've not been able to have a leather conversion factory where we can actually do what? Make this leather, modify them up to a grade that some of these designers can come and pick it from us. Who can do it? The young ones we have today can innovate on how to convert this to a marketable product, something that we can sell that is of value, because we have things of value in our country. Let's use storytelling for everything, because narratives shape culture more powerfully than policies alone. Tell the stories. We also started mentorship by doing what? By using what? By using people that they know, mentors, role models from these geopolitical zones. They tell their story. They connect better. Girls' enrollment increased. Even boys' enrollment also increased. People started getting active. In some of the things, ordinarily, they don't want to go to because they want to go and sell in the market. Started encouraging parents to allow their wards to go to school, because education is that enabler, is that game changer. Young leaders can also build gender smart communities, create spaces where all genders thrive and contribute fully. Because no gender has a monopoly of knowledge. No particular gender have monopoly of knowledge. Intelligence is what? It's inbuilt in both the male and the girl child. All you need to do is to do what? Is to hone it, develop it, and create the enabling environment. Good learning environment for them to do what? To thrive. I'll share some global insights. When women lead, economies grow. When inclusion is the norm, societies do what? Thrive. This is from UN Women Report 2024. Currently, Rwanda Parliament will have 61% of parliament seats held by women. Iceland, gender equality in pay check since 2018. In Nigeria, I know that women-led startups show higher social return on investment. But we are still not where we are. In terms of politics, we don't even have up to 15%. How many female do we have in the parliament? We've never had a female governor in the country. We've never had a female Senate president. The number of female we have in the Senate is even abysmal. It's very small. How many women are ready to go into politics? We need to look at what women bring. Because when they lead, economies grow. Look at the top 5 banks in the country that are being led by female. Those banks have very strong balance sheets. Top 5 banks being led by female. The power of inclusion. 50 years ago, that wouldn't have happened. But today, it has happened. For better. I'll go to a call for action. How do we rewrite the rules? We have to do that together. The question is no longer who will let us, but who will join us. This is your moment, our moment, to shift the gender paradigm through deliberate systems, authentic allyship, and courageous leadership. Let us begin today by asking yourself, myself, ourselves, 3 powerful questions. 1, what bias am I challenging today? Religious, cultural, ethnic? What bias am I challenging today? Identify one assumption or practice you can question and shift, and be intentional about it. Whose voice can I amplify? The voiceless. Whose voice can I amplify? In your community, in your workplace, in your class, in your family, in your church? Whose voice can I amplify? Who in your sphere isn't being heard? In your team, make space for them intentionally. You can do it. We can all do it. We can be that change that we want. The third one is, how will I design for inclusion where I am? Wherever you are now, how can you design inclusion? How? Ask yourself. How will I design inclusion where I am? What one systemic change you can influence right now? So many of them. Ask your question. Ask yourself, what systemic change can you influence right now? Is it getting more girl child to go to school? Because now the boy child is also not going to school. Is it ensuring that there's that equity, they have equal opportunity in teams to have both the female and the male being represented? Do you discriminate against some particular set of people in the workplace because they are physically challenged? Oh, this particular job is not for them. She cannot do it because she's a woman. No, give them a chance. Be intentional about inclusion. Because together we do what? We can build an equitable world where everyone belongs, where everyone matters, where everyone contributes. Because we are better together. Let us build a nation where what? Everyone belongs. Together we can build an equitable world where what? Where we can achieve more of what we want. Where we can be intentional about each other's growth. Where we can support one another. Where we can allow people air their views without hurting them. Where can allow people air their views without scolding them. Where can allow people say their mind in meetings, in forums, in conversations. Allow people to say their mind, no matter how stupid, no matter how unintelligent that particular decision or that particular thought the person is saying, you feel it is. Just allow the person to say something. Allow somebody feel good for a while by sharing their thoughts. Even if you think it's not the best of decisions, it's not the best of comments for that meeting, just allow them. Allow them to feel, well, that is inclusion. Let's rewrite the rules together. Let us build an inclusive nation. Let us build an inclusive society. Let us build an inclusive nation. Together, we are better. Thank you, and God bless you all. I would say that the greatest good you can do for another is not just share your riches, but also reveal to them their own. That's Benjamin Disraeli. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Come on, everyone. Can we celebrate our speaker this evening? Can I see the reaction? This is really a call to action. This is not just a presentation. This is not just someone speaking abstract. She's speaking from a standpoint of experience. Can we celebrate? This is really very awesome. And of course, we know even in the camp here, our quote says, till we all win, we are all work in progress. Together is better. Together we can build an equitable world where everyone belongs. Can we once again just celebrate our speaker this evening? That was awesome. Thank you very much, Engineer Felicia. This was really amazing. I mean, I believe everyone here has an assignment to go home with, where you need to all give somebody within your community a voice. Everyone really matters within your space, your workspace, your school, even your neighbors around you. Everyone deserves to be heard. So right about now, I'll be taking some questions. If you would love to ask your question directly, just raise your hand. So I already have two persons. Blessing. Okay, two blessings. So three, and that will be all for now. Okay, Blessing. Please, very brief. Ask your question straight to the point. Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Felicia. Thank you so much for such an insightful session. So much value to gain. And yeah, I want to ask, I am into inclusion advocacy work, but there is this concern I have about making it more about having just to tick the box, just having people there to fulfill all righteousness. I don't know, what strategies would you advise we take on to avoid such tokenism in terms of representation? There is this advocacy now on women having reserved seats for women in parliament, but how do we get qualified people to take on those roles, not just to tick the box? So that's my concern. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Blessing. I really appreciate this question. You know, one thing we need to also understand is that what defines us is what is in our head, not the hair covering it. Majority of the time, for us women, most of our challenge is that of perfection, because we are always in a shell. We don't want to come out. We want to be perfect before we come out. The men are doing what? That's why we have the bravery deficit in the female gender, is why we have less women in politics. That's why we have less women in the boardroom. Because for a man, if he meets 10% criteria for a job function or for a job application, he will apply. But for a woman, if she does not meet 100% criteria, I bet you the girl child or the woman I know will not apply. I'll tell you I'm not qualified. But the men will even qualify with just 10% criteria. So we must be intentional in terms of our growth. We must build ourselves. We must develop ourselves. The skills that you think that you don't need tomorrow, have it now. It might be useful tomorrow. For us to have people in parliament, we must be intentional. Let us get women to develop themselves, build up their skills. For the men, look at it. The men can endure. They can stay late for late meetings. How many women will wait and attend party meetings by 11 p.m. or 1 a.m. in the morning, because we're always looking at what people will say. For the few who have dared, they are doing what? They are doing excellently well. You have an example of people like Natasha, we have a lot of them, Abike them. They're double into politics and are doing excellently well. They will tell you, I had Abike Dabri today speak during the Abuad convocation. He was given an honorary degree today. He said it wasn't easy. But he thank God that he did what his family was able to support her. And she has gotten to where she is. So we're not ready to collect tokenism. No. We said no. Let us walk to the table based on our competence and our skills. So we must ensure that we advocate that women should get more competent, should get more skills, so that when that particular job of tomorrow comes, you have the skill to fit in. So that when that seat in parliament comes, you are qualified to go and occupy that seat. They're not going to just give you a seat in parliament just like that. You must be a member of the party. You must conduct the primaries, win election before you go in there. So nobody's going to come to your house and pick you and say, okay, go and sit in parliament because you're a woman. No. You must do the needful. We must be intentional with our growth. We must be intentional. So while we are advocating for inclusion, let us also advocate and tell this girl child to do what? To be competent, to build their skill. Build the skill today for the job tomorrow. Don't wait tomorrow when the job comes and you don't have the skill to match that particular job. It's very, very important. If you want to play in the political field, first you must belong to a political party. Nobody got elected without being a member of a political party. So you must do what? You must follow them. You must join them first. Do the right thing at the right time. Whereby what? You're already qualified and they are looking for someone of your qualification, and then you now talk about gender, then you fit in. Whereby they're talking about, okay, they need a female. Most times, there are opportunities that will come whereby they need female for a particular gender role, for a particular role. But I don't even have people that will fit within the role. I don't know whether you've experienced that before. A role will come out, they need somebody to fit a particular role. They say they need preferably a female. You will not see a female to fit that role. So we need to be ready at all times. I keep telling my mentees, I said, please go and get those certifications, qualifications that you think that you don't need today. Don't wait tomorrow. That was the story about how I did my PhD. I didn't go to do PhD because I wanted to, because it's not going to do anything for me in my career, in my office. But I was just like, I just got one professor who kept on disturbing me. I have a colleague in the office, a senior colleague who was like, go and do your master's, Felicia. At some point, I stopped greeting him because each time he sees me, he said, go and enroll for master's degree. I was like, what's this man's problem? Why are you even more Pope than the Pope? Is it you that is going to get the degree? Allow me. And at some point, I said, okay, why this man is not even going to help him? Why is this so much about me, telling me to go and get the certificate? That was how I went to do my master's degree. And from there, my prof said, okay, go and also get your PhD. And the story, the history, now is history. Most of the doors that are open for me today are because I have doctorate PhD degree. Yes. But at the time I was doing it, I did not have need. There was no need for it in my workplace. I don't even need it to get promotion. But I will tell you, it has actually advanced my career presently. So before I did it, it was of no value. Physically, if I look at it, I will say, oh no, this has no value for me. So I will tell the blessing, let us, while you are doing this, your advocacy, ensure that you on the women, that they should do what? Get the skill, get prepared, be intentional of their growth, have a growth mindset. It's very, very important. Don't just sit and watch and say that nobody's going to drop anything for you. Let us walk to the table based on our competence and skill. We don't want them to do what? Just tell us to come into the room. No. If you are competent and you have skill, you carry the table to the room. You carry a chair to the room if there's no table. You bring yours. Because competence does what? Breeds what? People will look for you. If the seats in the room are filled up, you come with your own table. And that's your skill. That's your extra skill. You come with it. So let us continue. I will tell you, continue with your mission. It's not easy. Advocating for inclusion and diversity is not an easy thing. But just continue. And so that you keep on telling them, keep on telling the women, please build your skill. Have a good mindset. Build yourself up. Develop your skill, both soft skill and hard skill, please. Because competence and your skill is what will define today and tomorrow's woman. Thank you.
That was really, thank you very much for that profound response. Build your skill today for the job tomorrow. So due to time factor, okay, just one last person. Sorry, Cecilia. I'll take Blessing. Let me take Blessing's question, and after that, you can feel free to connect with our speaker on LinkedIn. I'm sure she'll be able to respond to your other questions. Blessing, please ask your question as quickly as possible.
All right. Thank you, Doctor, for tonight's section. I have two questions, please. Realistically, in the real world, in the real sense, can inclusion be a thing that goes across all fields? Because I personally love the fact that engineers, we're having females in the engineering team right now. But let's look at industries like the agricultural firm and miners, skyscraping, and the likes. Do you think inclusivity will be a thing that will cross across this section? One. My second question, yeah, I understand the fact that that inclusivity should be something that should be enabled in a workspace. But what do you do as a leader in a workspace where you're trying to bring everyone along, but there is always that person or those persons that always make the meeting that ought to last for 10 minutes to go for an hour? There are always those people that always enable certain things to go extreme, and to a large extent, their opinions does not really count with the outcome or the result that ought to be bettered. So how best can such people be included in viable decision-making boards? Thank you.
Okay. I'll start with the second one. You have to be intentional. Most times we look at short-term measures. Don't look at the short-term method. Or they might not be, for now, their input might not be bringing results. But mid-term or long-term, their input will bring results. You just have to include them. There are teams. When you have a diverse team, some people. Okay, let me give you an example now. Maybe you have we have an issue in 2019, whereby we are trying to bring out a lot of people in northern Nigeria to join APWEN, for them to come out and participate in some of the things we are doing. People were like, no. I said, no, allow them, let them come out. In as much as they keep on telling you, oh, it's cultural barrier. That was the first time I learned that it wasn't actually anything cultural barrier that makes the female not to even come out to join things. And it's not. I had that from Sarikin Khan for the first time. He said, no, that a girl child is empowered to do what? To go to school and do what other people are doing. So sometimes we'll think that, oh, this person's opinion does not matter. Have you taken time to ask yourself, maybe their power of comprehension or their level of comprehension is not as fast as yours? Do you understand me? You might think that they are dragging the team backward. No, they might not. But they are also a kind of, with that, their slow energy, they are giving the team an opportunity to do what? To recalibrate. Sometimes we'll move faster. We'll move into what? Into the wrong channel. Sometimes you take a decision, you come back, recalibrate, you seek opinion of all your team members. Sometimes some of the team members that will give opinion are the ones that nobody expect anything good to come from them. I don't know whether it has happened in your team before. There are people that make suggestion for something for a particular job to go in the office. Everybody will tell you, no, leave them, that one. But eventually, when you take your time and think through their suggestion, it might be your best option. So always at any particular point in time, give everyone opportunity. But also in building that inclusive team, there are people that will always drag you down. There are also people who are fast thinkers. That's why you need to also build your team with a lot of people inside, with a mix. Why the ones that are going to draw you down? The ones who are going to think fast and now say, okay, and do what? And rewind and take you to the next level. And say, okay, let's leave this, let's keep this, and go to another one. If a particular meeting becomes boring or becomes too challenging, someone will always come up with and say, okay, please, team, can we just leave this and go to this after we'll come back? After you can still come back there and still achieve the same thing. So I will tell you, don't look down on anyone, no matter how stupid that person's suggestion is. No, there must be something you can take home from that, from experience. There will be something you're going to take from that. That's one. Second, when we talk about how can we actually build an inclusive team in terms of mining, in terms of agriculture. Being an inclusive team is not about a physical inclusion. Mining process. They must not go and carry digger. Sorry,
Okay.
it's my network.
Okay.
Agriculture doesn't necessarily mean that the person when if you are into farming. Why is it? Sorry.
Okay. One of your devices.
Okay,
Let me. Yeah, that's all. Okay.
Farming is not a physical. It's not a physical field. It's not a physical occupation. That if somebody said is a farmer, doesn't mean they're going to be the one that will be doing the cultivation. They're going to be the one that will be tilling the farm. No.
Sorry about that, please. I think our speaker is having a bit of network glitches. Um, okay, so while we wait for our speaker to just jump back on the call, maybe after she fixes her network, we can as well use the chat box to just let me get to see, or you type in one or two things you have gotten from today's session. I mean, our speaker gave a practical session of inclusivity. And of course, it's not just about gender balance alone, but it all boils down to everyone, cut across whatever we do or wherever we find ourselves. So let's make it a bit interactive. I remember at the beginning of the session, I asked a question on the key things you picked from yesterday's session. I guess we can do that for today already. What are the key things you got from today's session while we wait for our speaker to join us back? Okay, amazing, amazing. Thank you. Amazing. An organization without mentorship does not thrive. That's really key. A speaker had mentioned that your name, what will people remember your name for? When people step into an environment, what will you be
I think
remembered
our
for?
speaker is back.
Okay. Let me check. Still trying to unmute. Okay. Ma, you can unmute now. Yeah.
Sector in terms
Okay.
in mining and agriculture. It's not a physical exercise. You can bring in innovation. You know, people look at the female gender that, oh, there's a particular gender role that female must be domiciled to do. No. Just like it has been shown that there's no gender in engineering, there's no gender in mining, there's no gender in agriculture. Because you can actually automate these processes. You don't need to physically go and dig or go and no. You can automate the process. Both gender can do that. All you need to do is to create a solution that can do that. I know that the female gender are wired to do what? To think deep and create solutions. But we must do what? We must be intentional with our growth to make use of this God-given talent. How do we develop that? By building a diverse team, through inclusion. I'll give you the first female partner over Arrow. Nemot Muele happens to be the one running the 712 billion naira project, airport project presently. A female. She's less than 50 years old. She's a female. Soft-spoken. If she's speaking in this room, you won't even hear her word. You have to come close for you to hear what she's saying. So it's not true. It's not about macho. No. It's about deep thinking. Someone is asking, because I think Nigerian organizations do not give most times you are put on probation, which is not a true level of competency. I think Nigerian organizations should be sensitized. Okay, I want to give an instance now. We ran during the first Royal Academic grant GCFR phase 4 grant. We developed a D&I policy for professional engineering institution in Africa. And that was what we used in Nigeria to ensure that we get elected the first female president. And after that, we developed a diversity and inclusion diversity policy for engineering businesses and organizations in Nigeria to commit to employ 30% female in the workforce by year 2030. I will tell you, today, Hayes Holdings employs 50% female. Petroman Watersmith employs 50%. In fact, for Watersmith, there are some job opportunities that will come out. If there is no female applicant, they won't go ahead with the process. These are organizations in Nigeria who are intentional about diversity and inclusion, who have actually implemented these processes, and more are still implemented. So we need to continue to sensitize them. Some are already doing that. For my agency, NAMA, for the first time, we had the first female director since inception of NAMA. We have the first female managing director of Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria since inception of the Federal Airports Authority. Who are intentional about this. We need to keep on with the advocacy. We are not yet where we want to be, but I must tell you that it's no longer business as usual. It's no longer what it used to be. there's some progress. Not yet what we will say that, okay, this is what we want. So we'll keep on doing what? We'll keep on amplifying that on the ears of policymakers until it does what? It's in all policy manuals. Let's continue. We need to continue. The work is not yet completed. But we need to continue the advocacy. Then for us female, we need to also be ready. We must have the growth mindset. We don't need to sit down like Blessing said earlier, that he doesn't want tokenism. No. Let us be ready for that job of tomorrow so that when it comes, we'll fit in. We'll have the skill and the competence to take over the work. Not that when it's time, we'll say, okay, we'll have a job for a female CEO. And when you look around, we don't even have somebody who qualifies, who have the necessary required qualification to fit in. So we just have to be intentional with our growth. It's very, very important.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, can we appreciate our speaker in the chat box? Can we show some reactions, everyone? Thank you very much, Engineer Felicia. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for taking our time to even respond to a lot of questions that our participants are asking today. And sorry, due to time, we might not be able to take further questions. Notwithstanding, as I'd mentioned, you can do well to connect with her on her LinkedIn page, and should respond to you. So, but before then, let's receive the first Kempite to make a presentation to our speaker today, Dr. Casey.
Hello, good evening, Dr. Engineer Felicia Agubata. Unfortunately, something is wrong with my video, so you will not be able to see me. But as the first Kempite founder of DEKEMP, it's a pleasure to have you celebrate with us our 6th anniversary. Thank you for all the nuggets. I think we have taken a lot of notes. So on behalf of DEKEMP, we are happy to give you this award in recognition of your support. I really appreciate the work you are doing in gender equality. I think that's definitely the way to go. DEKEMP is almost 50-50%, right? And we are quite intentional about how we are building our structure and leadership. So we look forward to people like you that inspire us, and we also hope that we'll be able to have you again in any of our forthcoming events. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Casey. Once again, thank you, Engineer Felicia, and to everyone. I would be welcoming one of the committee members for the planning of this anniversary to give an appreciation remark to all attendees. Then I'm going to share the flyer for tomorrow's guests that we'll be having. Etelbert, over to you, please. Etelbert, are you on the call? Okay, Udeme. Okay, so while we wait for